Which quarterback will we see scoot the most this year in their first season in the NFL?
4 out of the 5 quarterbacks can scoot, and that includes Trevor Lawrence. Mac Jones a little bit less scooty. I would think Justin Fields is the most likely to play this year and scoot.
Mina, welcome to my hangout. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Before we start, one, it's unbelievable to sit down with you. If you'd have told me 5 years ago I was going to be talking to Mina Kimes ahead of the draft, it would have blown my mind. I'm just a massive fan of yours. I look up to you. You were one of my idols in sports journalism. I've followed you since Levitard all over the place. It just is an honor. So personally, thank you for taking the time today.
Thank you so much. That's really kind of you. I appreciate it.
Of course. So let's jump in. How will you be covering the draft this year?
So I'm very excited to tell you that I will be in Cleveland at the draft. Excited for, as you can imagine, the obvious reasons, which is that like most people, it was a very different sort of NFL season for me, different sort of work life over the last few months. I'm excited to travel safely, of course, and to do a show in person. I'm NFL Live, the show I'm on ESPN with my fellow cast members. So we will be on set in Cleveland, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I love the draft. I love it even more when you're there in person. I know it'll be different from the usual kind of craziness, Nashville a few years ago, but I'm still excited nonetheless.
Do you have a favorite day of the draft?
I feel like if I wanted to be like a draft hipster, I should say like Friday or Saturday, but I'm not going to lie to you. Night one is the most exciting night because it's the night we've been talking about for weeks. I mean, we've been doing mock drafts over and over and over and trying to project what'll happen. And this year there's excitement with some of the trades going on, some uncertainty about who's going to go at pick 3, the order of the quarterbacks in particular. So I'm just excited to see it all play out because it's like an awards show for us. You really don't know who's going to win and who's going to get who. And I'm excited to find out along with everyone else.
It's incredible. And we've got to assume Trevor Lawrence heading to Jacksonville. You've been all over his brother Chase. His outfits, unbelievable. What will we see Chase rock?
Oh my God. Well, so Trevor Lawrence is watching the draft from Clemson. So unfortunately, I won't get to see Chase Lawrence's brother's outfits in person. So for those who don't know, Chase Lawrence is Trevor's brother, who is an artist and not only doesn't play football, doesn't appear to watch football or have much interest in sports, which is just absolutely fascinating. It is like a sitcom when you look at them. And Chase at the Heisman ceremony or remote ceremony wore like an unbuttoned silk shirt kind of situation. So I'm hoping for something like that. But the outfits are really, I love the draft for all the football reasons, but I'm not going to lie, I like the outfits as well.
So I'm with you there. A while ago, you posted your incredible 6th grade talent. If I'm flexing my math stats correctly, you would have run a 7.540 at the combine. Has that improved?
I do run every day on a treadmill while I watch tape on my iPad, but I don't run very fast, Landon. So for someone who goes on TV and analyzes guys 3 cones and 40s, I myself really cannot compete on that front. But
okay.
I think I could hit like 6 at least 6 seconds.
Would you out-time your dog Lenny in the 40? That's the real question here. No?
100% no. He's a lot faster than me, which he proves by constantly running away from me after getting my socks.
You mentioned that we've got these quarterbacks, we've got these players coming out, and you've got a tagline of scooting that I love. It's one of my favorites. It makes me laugh so hard. Which quarterback will we see scoot the most this year in their first season in the NFL?
I love that question. So I think, So 4 out of the 5 quarterbacks can scoot, Landon. And that includes Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones a little bit less scooty. I would think Justin Fields is the most likely to play this year and scoot because Trey Lance is very fast, but he seems more likely to sit his first year in the NFL. So I'll give the scooter award to Justin Fields.
Will Justin Fields be scooting in a Patriots jersey?
Patriots fans sure seem to hope so. I don't know. This is probably the most interesting plot line of the draft, frankly, is Justin Fields, because after San Francisco traded out for that number 3 spot, everyone immediately assumed they were going to take a quarterback. We thought maybe Justin Fields, but then word started spreading that they had their eye on Mac Jones out of Alabama, which took a lot of people by surprise. And if that were to happen, I don't think anyone knows exactly where Justin Fields would be drafted. It could be Atlanta at 4, it could be Denver at 9, or either trading up, or it could be New England. I don't think he'll get past New England, but I'm not sure he will get to New England.
So these quarterbacks, these incoming quarterbacks, we've got a team in Washington that doesn't exactly have any incoming quarterbacks, but they have what I like to call the most incredible quarterback in the NFL in Ryan Fitzpatrick. Is Ryan Fitzpatrick going to start week 1?
He's definitely the most interesting quarterback, I'd say.
Correct.
I think he is, yeah, because I don't think Washington is a leading candidate to draft a quarterback. And even if they were to draft a quarterback, I think they would probably have him sit for a little bit. They do have Taylor Heineke, who was surprisingly excellent in the playoffs, and they kept him on the roster. And I think they're going to actually give him a chance to compete. But I've learned after many seasons, watching many seasons, you don't bet against Ryan Fitzpatrick.
That's correct. That's correct. The beard does more than the arm, I think, though.
Exactly.
So we've seen a team like the Rams over the last few years just say heck with first round picks. They're done with them. They don't want any. But we haven't exactly seen other teams sort of follow that suit. Do you think this is something that'll get more popular, sort of the trusting established talent outside of unpredictable futures?
I think that yes, but only to some degree. And that degree is that what we're seeing in the NFL more and more is teams being very aware of their timelines, I like to call it. Basically, are we a good team now? And if we're not, when are we going to be a good team? The Rams are a team that has repeatedly gone all in, basically saying we are a team that is built to compete in the present tense. We want to upgrade at quarterback, and we're happy to do that so that we can compete in the present tense and sacrifice what potentially some picks that we can use to improve our roster in the long term. I don't think they're going to be alone in that regard, but I also think that because quarterbacks on their rookie deals are so valuable, or players in general, it's unlikely that a lot of teams are going to follow suit and just get rid of all of those picks.
You bring up a very interesting topic, the win now versus building. I mean, I'm a Philly guy. I got used to trusting the process, but in the NFL, it's a little different. That said, we saw the Buccaneers just front load and go crazy this year, and they did it within 1 year. Do you see the NFL sort of turning into this star-studded powerhouse? We've got 5 teams that just year in and year out just are the only options to win the Super Bowl.
I think it's just too hard in football because of the salary cap and the way teams are built. But the Bucs certainly are the closest thing we've got in the NFL to like a Brooklyn Nets style super team. And even though in them, yes, they've got a bunch of stars, and yes, they're on slightly discounted contracts to fit under the cap, but they're still making a lot of money, the stars there. And the fact that they're able to fit all those players is a testament to the fact they've had some really good drafts in recent years. I think you will continue to see players in this league rather make sacrifices or choices based on trying to win chips. But, they call it the not for long league. You just can't make those kind of decisions the way you can in basketball.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And we're going to get back to the Nets here in a second. But my next question around sort of the super team strategy is, and the NBA's debated it for a little while, is let's drop divisions. Divisions no longer matter in the NBA. It's just conferences. Will we see the NFL look into this and just straight up 1 through 8 make the playoffs?
Yeah, I think with the expansion of the playoff pool, you're kind of avoiding the problem that's popped up in various years where you've had division winners who are obviously inferior to teams that, just missed out on a wild card. Now with 7 teams getting into the playoffs in each conference, you really should qualify for one of those seeds if you want to complain. So I don't think that would be a motivator. And I also think the NFL, like the teams, the fan bases actually just love the divisions. There's some history to it. There are rivalries in a way that's really different from the NBA where no one cares. And frankly, most people can't even name, the divisions that their teams are in. So I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Okay. Well, you bring up the Nets. You've become the bandwagoner of all bandwagons. How do you win over these Nets fans who won't let you just sleep without your eye open, honestly?
So it hasn't been hard to win over the Nets fans. They welcome me with open arms. They're just glad anyone has embraced the Nets. I would say it's more the other fans that are disgusted by my bandwagoning. Especially, I have a lot of friends who are Sixers fans who are very, very appalled, which was kind of the point of it. I wanted to appall people and become a villain. And it seems like mission accomplished based on my Twitter mentions.
You bring up the Sixers fans. I noticed you got married in Philadelphia. I'm a big Philadelphia person. Where'd you get married in Philly?
I got married at a antique store called Material Culture in North Philadelphia. Yeah, so I married into a Philadelphia family. So Eagles, Sixers, all the way.
Was that Eagles Patriots Super Bowl just emotional in the home?
So I was there. And that is actually my favorite Super Bowl I've ever been to because I was covering it. So I was working it. So, I don't really care what happens. I'm just rooting for the story, if you will. But I was sitting in the end zone where the Philly special happened. And that's one of my favorite sports moments of all time. Just seeing that unfold in the corner right in front of me was just so cool.
Oh, it's incredible. It deserved the statue it got within 1 second in Philadelphia. Philadelphia needed that badly.
Exactly.
So you said it was one of your favorite Super Bowls or one of your favorite moments. Was it also possibly because you gave your take to the Levitard crew while ziplining?
Oh, my goodness.
Mina Kimes, ESPN The Magazine, is doing our Super Bowl correspondent work from the Mall of America. What is happening right? Yeah, well, yes, Mina, give us your surroundings.
The Levitard show, which is a radio show, ESPN, they asked me to strap it was like a walkie-talkie phone kind of thing, to my chest as I went down a zip line.
So there are currently 2 Mall of America employees trying to tape my phone to my bra so that when I go down the zip line, I'll be able to give you my take without losing it.
Okay.
And the thing you should know is that I'm afraid of heights. So it was a very terrifying experience.
We're going to ask the question, then you just answer whenever you...
I really regret doing this.
Okay. Go, Mike.
What's the single most important thing the Eagles have to do to beat the Patriots?
All right, I'm guessing you want me to answer once I'm in the air? This is so scary. Hold on. Oh, I'm really scared. Just sit down and lift my feet.
Just
jump.
jump.
Why do I do this? I have to maintain a pass rush in the fourth quarter, not like the Falcons. And they have a lot of stats. I guess that's the help to do it. Oh, my God.
Maybe that's the most challenging audio or radio or whatever I've ever done and the most difficult take I've ever given.
That's fair. Another difficult thing you've done, and everyone who's listening deserves to know, you're cemented in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire history. You took the call from your friend David Chang. What I really want to know is, what did you do when you hung up and you knew that you had given the correct answer? Like, what's the next movement? You hang up the phone and then...
Then I walked upstairs and looked up the question because I didn't know I had given the correct answer. So, and I honestly was not that sure. So then I felt an immense sense of relief because I didn't know that whether or not David had listened to me. I just knew that at least I hadn't messed things up for him, which was my biggest concern. And then I sat around for, I guess it was only about 10 minutes. And then Jimmy Kimmel called me back and told me that he had listened to me. And I just about lost my mind.
I was going to say, did you scream? Did you let out one of those zipline screams?
I did, yeah. I think James did too.
Did you get an incredible meal out of getting that answer correct?
Not yet, because of everything that's been going on with the pandemic. So Chang owes me big time. Hopefully soon I will.
Absolutely. You deserve it. That's for sure. Well, thank you for sitting down today, Mina. It was fantastic. And I look forward to watching you from Cleveland.
Thanks for having me.
Are you ready for some football? No, this kind of football.
You guys ready to get started?
Let's go! Are you ready for the new kid on the block?
Woo! Fresh meat!
Are you ready for your dream come true to become their worst nightmare? Ready for a little drip?
There's a lot of drip, Brady.
Are you ready for all the hair? Or none at all? Are you ready to hear what a life-changing moment sounds like?
Let's go!
To fall in love?
Oh, baby, this kid's pretty good!
Or just fall? Ready to thank yourself?
Listen, thank you.
Are you ready for the woof woof? And for whatever's happening here? Well, the couch is ready. The bench is ready. The person creating the graphic when the pics are ready is ready. The Hat Dude, Booger Stogie, the city of Cleveland, and your blood pressure all are ready. Are you ready?